Back in 1996, when the Angels signed Randy Velarde from the Yankees, they knew they were getting an explosive offensive weapon who added strength to their offense and to their infield defense as well. But after an outstanding first season with the team, a spring training injury sidelined Velarde for the entire 1997 year. In his 1998 comeback, Randy seems stronger than ever, hitting home runs in his first 2 games. Randy Velarde yesterday goes deep and has done it again. But Randy wasn't 100%. Only recently has he returned to the lineup on a regular basis, and the Angels hope he can play a pivotal role down the stretch. Can Randy Velarde be a key factor in the Angels' quest for the West? Major League Baseball is next, right here on KCAL 9. Live from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York, it's Angels baseball on KCAL 9. Tonight, a battle of division leaders continues as the best team in the West, the Anaheim Angels, takes on the Beast of the East, the New York Yankees. And hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is the left-hander, Jerry Royce. The Angels start this road trip in grand fashion, winning 7-3 over the best team in baseball, the New York Yankees, last night. And it was interesting and maybe fitting that a couple of former Yanks, Randy Velarde and Jack McDowell, did so well.
Velarde with 3 hits last night, plus a pretty good defensive play in the field. And how about Jack McDowell? His second start since coming off the disabled list. Last night going 7 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, and he was simply outstanding.
And skipper Terry Collins' theme all year long has been play him one game at a time. But when you come to New York, yes, the Yankees are very special.
I live for this series like this. This is what baseball is all about at this level. The big series that are important, especially for us. I think we've got still a young club that's going to continue to get better. When you face real good teams like the Yankees, you pick your game up. You learn how to do it. And the more you have to pick your game up, the more you rise to the occasion, the better you're going to be as a young player. So what we need to do is come in here, play the game the way we know how, and that is get prepared, go out, execute, catch the ball, put the ball in play, be aggressive on the bases, and we can beat them.
The Angels have risen to the occasion against the Yankees all season long. In the previous 7 meetings, the Angels have won 4 of those ball games, the only team in the American League to have a winning record against this New York ball club.
Our pitching matchup tonight, a very good one. Omar Olivares will try and get that nasty sinker ball working, and Hideki Irabu goes for win number 12. He has a 95-mile-an-hour heater to go with a good split finger pitch. But again, we come to you from Yankee Stadium with the monuments deep in the outfield. We'll be right back. Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Edison International, the power behind peace of mind. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. Test drive a 98 Toyota at your local Toyota dealer. Buy or lease. You can count on a Toyota every day. By Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. And by your Southern California Ford dealers. See your Ford dealer today.
Finally, a website that's more user-friendly, different from all the rest. KCAL.com, your place on the internet for local news and information. The latest on Southern California sports and links to hundreds of sources for all the information you need. KCAL.com, a news service from the TV station that's all about Southern California. KCAL 9.
The following message is brought to you by Cadillac and your local Cadillac dealers. Not just open, wide open, with up to $5,000 in factory-to-dealer cash on the quick and nimble DeVille Concours, up to $4,000 in dealer cash on the one-of-a-kind Eldorado Touring Coupe, and incredible lease rates on the luxury and fun of Catera, and the power and control of Seville. So don't hold back, because we're open, and we mean business. See your participating Southern California Cadillac dealers.
I gotta go to work.
To the men and women at Edison, protecting your service from natural disasters is more than just a job.
Don't worry, we'll save Daddy a seat.
It's a commitment that weathers hardship, hard work, and hard choices.
I'm scared.
Yeah, we got
flies.
Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
We welcome you back to New York City. Home team. It's the New York Yankees, and there can't be a better way to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Yankee Stadium than with the way the Yankees are playing this year. 94 wins, 34 losses, the best record in baseball, and an incredible 48-10 here at Yankee Stadium. Right now, let's check out the lineup that Terry Collins took out to home plate tonight. He will lead things off with left fielder Orlando Palmeiro. Batting second baseman Randy Velarde. Darren Erstad will hit third and play first base. The designated hitter is Tim Salmon. Batting fifth is Garrett Anderson, the right fielder. The center fielder back in tonight after suffering back problems, Jim Edmonds. Hitting seventh, third baseman Troy Gloss. Batting eighth, the catcher Matt Wolbeck. And hitting ninth, shortstop Gary DiSarcina.
29-year-old Hideki Irabu makes his 23rd start of the season, the second of his career against the Angels, the first this season. Last started 10 days ago against Texas here at the stadium and suffered the loss. But in that ball game, he was hit on the left instep by a line drive off the bat of Tom Goodwin, and it caused him to miss his last start against Minnesota. So it's been 10 days since Irabu has won 11 games this year as pitched.
Well, when you have 94 wins and you are 60 games over 500, you can pitch, you can hit, and you can also play defense. And they are fifth best in the American League defensively. And behind Hideki Irabu, he will have Chad Curtis in left field, Bernie Williams, an absolute flyer in center field, and Paul O'Neill, the respected arm that he shows. Scott Brocious will be at third base, Derek Jeter, and Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch has won a Gold Glove in his past. Tino Martinez is at first base, and Jorge Posada will catch Hideki Irabu.
If you were to ask a number of New York fans, they'd probably tell you that the man in your picture is the most valuable player in this ball club. For good reason. 326, fifth best in the American League, 7 errors overall. That's simply outstanding, considering the fact that he plays every day and that he's at a position where a lot of action takes place.
Only 7 errors, down from 20 last year. He will face Orlando Palmeiro. And Hideki Irabu throws low ball 1. Palmeiro has been playing this leadoff spot a lot for Terry Collins. What TC likes most is the fact that he is a disciplined hitter who will take pitches and not only allow himself but the guys hitting behind him to see all of a starting pitcher's pitches. He is just 0 for his last 11, 2 for 21, but does have 4 walks in that span. Fastball catches the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, the Angels won last night 7-3 after trailing 2-0. They came back with 5 runs in the 7th inning, 2 more in the 9th inning to win that ball game, the first of this 5-game series. This time Irabu misses away 3-1. Hideki, Jerry, will walk a few batters. I mean, he has walked 60 this year in 137 innings. And Palmeiro lines it. Jeter with a gem.
Palmeiro got a pitch that was up in the strike zone, made solid contact with it, but was denied a base hit on this diving play by shortstop Jeter. 7 errors this year, and I just wonder how many times he's made sparkling plays like that to prevent rallies from happening and to just set the tone for the ball game.
He not only has great range but an unbelievable arm. They have clocked his arm speed from short at 85 miles an hour. And you know what? Sometimes that will be a quick firing throw. 85 miles an hour is something. There's that slow curveball, which has been his change of pace, and evens the count against Randy Velarde. 1-1. Randy 3 for 4 last night to raise his average to 282. The Angels had so many stars. Velarde, Jack McDowell we talked about in our open, but certain Garrett Anderson, Gary DiSarcina were right there. It was such a complete ball game. as McDowell kept the club in it for a long time. And the Angels glad to get that man in their foreground. Jim Edmonds back in the lineup. He suffered upper back problems when he ran into center field trying to pull down a drive by the Toronto Blue Jays on Friday. Ball slapped foul, and the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Irabu, a good fastball. You mentioned it in the open, probably around 95 miles an hour. A split finger, that's his second best pitch. But when you factor in that he has a slow curve, now it kind of completes his whole repertoire because he needed something to offset the velocity by his fastball and his splitter. He's been getting his curveball over consistently, and even though he does have a high number of walks compared to innings pitched, he's still won nearly twice as many as he's lost.
Velarde just grabs the top of that baseball and fouls it between the legs of Posada. It'll stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Irabu does have a low batting average, but he will get the ball up in the zone. I mean, he has given up 21 home runs in 137 innings. There are some pitchers this year nearing the 200 pitch mark that haven't even reached double figures. I can think of one man, and that's Roger Clemens. 3-2 in the split finger pitch. Jerry, you talked about his last game. He lost 16-5 to the Texas Rangers. They pounded him around for 7 runs in just 2 1/3 innings. Darren Erstad waiting his turn. Fastball just misses low, ball 4. So after the line out by Palmeiro, Velarde walks, and now Irabu will face Darren Erstad. Erstad struggled a bit last night in some of his swings, but did have a hit and an RBI. His average right now at .303, but we saw him twice in that dugout talking with Rod Carew, hitting instructor, and you went straight to Rod today to find out what that conversation might be about.
Darren has gotten into a habit of dropping his hands just a little bit as he prepares for the ball to come into the plate. Let's see if we can take a look at it. He's got his hands a little bit higher than what he did last night. Usually when he gets set for the pitch coming in, they're just about right about at his neck. Now he's got it around chin high. The reason for that is that it allows his top hand to get over the top of the swing on the pitches that are up in the strike zone, the pitches that Erstad seems to like best. And what Rod was reminding him, don't try to get on top by pulling your back elbow, your left elbow, parallel to the ground. Keep your elbows close together because that gives you the quickness, and if you raise your hands, that allows that top hand to work. Let's see how he sets up. Well, he's got that elbow out just a little bit.
And there's a letter high fastball from Hideki Irabu that will even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. And you'll hear a lot of hitting instructors talk about that back elbow. You know, when I grew up, we're told to keep that elbow up, and that's not necessarily the case. Tony Gwynn restructured Greg Vaughn's swing this year, and look at the kind of season he has had. Just misses inside, not by much. 2-1. Irabu signed with the Yankees in May last year in 1997, a 4-year contract. Velarde does not go, and Erstad lifts it in the air left field. Chad Curtis under it. He will make the catch for the second out of this first inning. Now the Angels designated hitter Tim Salmon, who had 2 hits last night, and his average continues to soar up near the 299 mark. He was fighting it around 259 inside the 260s for much of the season. But my goodness, this month of August has been better than 400, and he's hitting .443 now in his last 20 games. Velarde does not go, and the pitch is taken for a strike.
What's interesting with Salmon, when he gets hot, he sprays the ball to all fields. Now, you remember the home run that he hit over the weekend to right center field. Hit it better than 420 feet into the bleachers.
And last night he started that Seventh inning for the Angels with an opposite field double just below the 385 marker, but off the wall. Deep drive, staying with the pitches. As you said earlier, they were going to pitch him away, and Tim was thinking right along with you.
What's also is interesting is that when Salmon starts spraying the ball, suddenly his power numbers pick up because hitters then try to adjust from the outside corner and going back inside, and that's really where he likes to pitch best.
That catches the outside corner. Irabu coming right at him with fastballs. Now he has the options with the slow curve or his second best pitch, which might be a strikeout pitch in his split finger.
Don't think he wants to use a slow curve in this situation unless he wants to throw it to miss just to show it. I would save that pitch for the next time through the batting order and go after him with my second best pitch. That's the splitter. Let's see what the Yankees are thinking. Yep, instead, a throw over to first base.
Will they send Velarde here with 2 strikes on Salmon?
Possibility.
Velarde does not go. The pitch. Yes, Salmon went around. And Hideki Irabu has his first strikeout of the night. We head to the bottom of the inning. Knobloch, Jeter, O'Neill coming up for New York.
Hold, please. One moment, please.
Hey, got a minute?
I've got a call.
Have you heard? Toyota's national clearance event is on. Drive home a new Corolla without paying a dime. No dollars, no cents, absolutely nothing due at lease signing. Then you pay only $199 a month to lease a Corolla. That's an incredible value. Or get a super low APR. This Corolla has AC, power steering, deluxe stereo, and more. So get down to your Toyota dealer's national clearance event now.
Your call cannot be completed. Holy cow! The market dropped big time. Better call my broker and put in a buy order.
You never did follow the crowd, JT. Is that why you're having breakfast for dinner?
Logistics, Cliff. I delivered papers at dawn. No time for breakfast. So, I eat it for dinner.
You'd like IHOP's new International Best Breakfast. 2 delicious Swedish, German, or French pancakes, plus eggs, bacon, sausage, ham, and hash browns, just $3.99.
Okay, Cliff. I'll explain supply and demand, but this is the last time.
Closed captioning of Angels baseball is brought to you by
It is a beautiful night in New York City. Some rain was expected because of Hurricane Bonnie, but not tonight. And it's the Angels and New York Yankees in the bottom of the first inning. Joe Torre sent this lineup to home plate. He will start things with his second baseman Chuck Knobloch, and then batting second, shortstop Derek Jeter. In the 3 spot, right fielder Paul O'Neill. Batting fourth, Bernie Williams leads the American League in hitting. Hitting fifth, Tino Martinez. Then it's Darryl Strawberry who leads the club in home runs with 22. Jorge Posada bats seventh. Chad Curtis, the former Angel, will hit eighth, and Scott Brocious will bat ninth.
Omar Olivares tonight makes his 29th appearance, his 22nd start. It's been an up-and-down kind of season for Olivares since the middle of June because he had a 3-game winning streak and then went on to lose 6 of his next 7 ball games out there. And now he's back on a 2-game winning streak. So up and down, and Olivares in his last 3 starts so has come on strong. Just 3 or 6 earned runs in 22 and 2/3 innings. Something to watch for with Olivares. If he's on, you're going to see that ball with a lot of sink as it comes up toward home plate. And if you want to know a pretty good ratio for Olivares, if he's on, he's going to get 2 out of every 3 outs, either by a ground ball or by a strikeout.
He struck out the first 4 Tigers he faced in his last game. Angels gave him 13 runs that night as Anaheim beat Detroit 13-2. And Olivares went 8 innings, gave up 7 hits, only walked 1. And that's key because how many times have we seen him with 2 balls and no strikes? And here he started Chuck Knobloch with 2-0. And he gets that sinker in there. 2 balls, 1 strike.
First 2 pitches, though, were fastballs. Olivares, his best pitch, no doubt, is his sinker. But he has a tendency at times to throw that fastball trying to overpower hitters or to try to sneak something by them with his split finger, which is a good pitch, too. Look at that sinker. Outside corner. Screeches out there. Nothing Knobloch can do, so he takes it. The count evens out at 2. One more time, take a look at this sinker on that outside corner. Notice that late movement. You can see then, at that point, why a guy like Olivares gets a lot of ground balls.
Well, Knobloch stayed down with the pitch, lines it to left field for a hit. And New York starts well with a base hit by Chuck Knobloch. The Angels defensively have to be on their toes, as Jerry said, with that sinker ball working. Gloss, DeSarcina, Velarde, Erstad will get a lot of work. Palmeiro, Edmonds, Anderson in the outfield. Matt Walbeck catches Omar Olivares. And it is good to have the Gold Glover back in center field. Jim Edmonds. He has missed the last 3 because of upper back problems when he slammed into center field at Edison International Field on Friday. Now the dangerous Derek Jeter. He has 8 hits in his last 19 at-bats to raise his average to .326. He is one of 4 or 5 Yankees with a chance at over 100 runs this year, as Derek has 102, and there are 3 or 4 others who could go over that mark. Yeah, they love Derek Jeter here. He is the most eligible bachelor in New York City. Got it in on his hands. Olivares up. His play is first base. 1 out. Knobloch goes to second.
Olivares puts himself in great fielding position after he delivers a pitch. He was a shortstop growing up, but his father had said, look, you're not going to make the big leagues as a shortstop, even though you're pretty good at this level. But you have a pretty good arm, and you have the capacity to learn, so we're going to make you a pitcher. So it's like having an extra infielder out there. Olivares gets himself in good position, fields his ground ball, knows that Knobloch with pretty good speed is going to beat the play at second, opts for the out at first base, and the Yankees, with that out, have a runner in scoring position.
And now Olivares must face Paul O'Neill. Well, if Lou Gehrig was the pride of the Yankees back in the 20s and 30s, Paul O'Neill has to be the pride of the Yankees in the 1990s. Because he is their veteran. You talk to guys who've been around, won world championships, guys like Strawberry and Cone that we visited with yesterday and today, and they say this is the pro. He is the leader. He is the guy who stepped forward when this club started out 2-4. And he had just a wonderful conversation in the clubhouse at the Kingdome. There's the pride of the Yankees, Lou Gehrig. Well, he's batting .316. That is 5th career in Yankee history, behind names like Ruth, Gehrig, Combs, DiMaggio. Not bad. And that ball smoked toward center field. A long run for Jim Edmonds, but he will run it down. Tagging at second, going to third is Chuck Knobloch, and 2 outs.
O'Neill right on this sinker. It's up just a little bit. And O'Neill was right on top of it. First from the location of the pitch, just below the belt. O'Neill, a pretty good hitter, whether it's high or it's low, realizes that he hits it out to Death Valley. That's Yankee Stadium. Edmonds goes back. And you can see him right now telling Garrett Anderson over in right field just how that ball was carrying as it came to center field. But Edmonds was able to run it down, and 2 out in the first. Now Bernie Williams. Gold Glove winners last year. Ken Griffey Jr. of course, but then Edmonds in center field and Bernie Williams for the New York Yankees. Olivares brings it and Williams swings and misses. Jim Edmonds is trying to break in a new glove. I spotted him underneath Edison International Field the other day, taking line drives at 40 feet from the pitching machine at about 80 miles an hour. He's trying to break it in, also get his reflexes back. And he said it was mainly to break it in. That's a new glove. He says the old one's just garbage. And I said, hey, that's the one that won you the gold last year. He said it's too old now. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bernie Williams. Besides, it's plated in gold. Can't play with it. Gets heavy and balls have a tendency to clang off of it. Can't have that. Williams now with 20 home runs. He was stuck on 10 for a while, but since the All-Star break has really been hot in the power department. Hit home runs in 3 consecutive games last week.
think the Texas Rangers are glad to see him gone because he beat them one night, was part of their huge victory on Saturday. Grotius with the game-winning home run, but twice this man came up with either a double or a home run in their 12-9 victory on Saturday. Knobloch, third base. 2 outs, first inning. And good pitch by Omar Olivares. That may have been the split finger.
Beauty of this pitch, though, is that you pretty much anticipate the reaction from his sinker. So you're looking for something that's going to break down, but when he pulls back on it a little bit, that means changing speeds and has more of a dip to it. You still have to make an adjustment. Williams couldn't do it on that pitch.
Ground ball in the hole, past Velarde into right field. Knobloch comes home, and New York takes a 1-0 lead.
If you're a sinker ball pitcher, your team can expect a lot of ground balls. And when you get a lot of ground balls, you have to anticipate that some of them are going to get through. Fastball, it tailed back out over the plate. Erstad gives up on it just a little bit. Didn't want to get caught in no man's land. Velarde dives, but he does so in vain as this ball trickles into right field. And Knobloch was at third, was able to come around and score the game's first run.
Now Tino Martinez. Williams dives back in to first base. Williams with 14 stolen bases this year. Olivares does have a pretty good move. But this is a ball club that will be very aggressive. They're second in the American League in stolen bases. More than 130.
You know, when you mentioned yesterday at the top of the show talking about where this New York ball club stands against the American League in the different categories, I couldn't believe how many different categories there were where they're number one. So I had to look it up today, and I got them all listed in front of me. There's about a dozen of them where they're either number one or number two.
That's in the dirt, blocked by Matt Walbeck. Ball one to Tino Martinez. They do it every which way. Joe Torre proud of his ball club, not only the numbers they put up, but the character, the professionalism that they have brought to every single night. Olivares misses outside, and you talk important categories: first in batting, first in runs, first in on-base percentage, first in pitching, first in saves, first in fewest home runs allowed, first in fewest walks allowed. It's easy to understand why they are 94-34. 18-game lead on the Boston Red Sox. They are first in the East. Olivares misses high. 3 balls, no strikes. Now Walbeck comes out for a visit and maybe saying here, you know what, even if we lose Tino, there's runners in first and second, but if you try and just be aggressive, he might have the green light, and all of a sudden it's a 3-0 ball game.
I'm sure the conversation is in that vein, but I think it probably goes a little bit more like this. What do you want to do here? Do you want to walk him intentionally, or do you want to try to pitch to him and come back? Barry Collins liked to know that too. He wants to get out of this first inning, stop the bleeding right here.
Martinez fouls it back 3-1.
Gave us pretty good indication, did it? Let's go after him. Let's see what we can do. We're early in the ball game. Our team has been able to come back. We keep the ball game close, as we saw last night in the first game of this series.
May want that fork ball right here. That's busted foul. 3-2 now. Well, that fork ball, if it was a fork ball, it did not fork. It was more like a spoon, just laid up there for you.
And Martinez knifed it, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Knifed it foul.
Well, we have all the cutlery on the table here. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out in the first inning. The New Yorkers already leading 1-0. Base hit by Williams. He's at first base. That scored Chuck Knobloch. Center field. Edmonds racing back. He's at the wall. It's off the wall. Williams will score. It is 2-0 New York.
Martinez last year hit 44 home runs. That obviously a career high, with many of them going into right field. But yet he shows great power to left field, left center field, in fact, on this sinker toward the outside part of the plate. Talk about carry. This ball carried a long way, especially if Jimmy Edmonds can't run it down. It goes over his head, bounces off the wall. Williams comes around to score, and the Yankees got something going early in this ballgame.
And now a guy who might be a huge threat to Olivares, because Darryl Strawberry has always been a great low fastball hitter. He likes that ball around the knees and just can use that bat as a whip, taking it into right field. Olivares tries to come inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Darryl's been coming off the bench lately because Chili Davis coming off the disabled list. He has played the last 2 games. Straw leads the club in home runs and can't start every day. Smacks it foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When he came up, he was the very best in the game. Now 36 years of age, out of Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles. In '87, he had a tremendous year, hitting 39 home runs. But the 22 this year, the most he has had since 1991. Olivares comes inside. Martinez second base. Out comes Matt Wahlbeck. Omar Olivares has pitched very well recently. In his last 5 games, he's averaged 7 innings a start, averaged 116 pitches a game, and less than 3 earned runs. The Angels would take that tonight.
Yeah, bottom line is the fact that he keeps the team in the ball game and he eats up a lot of innings.
Right now he's throwing a lot of pitches in this first inning.
And it's important for the Angels to get a lot of innings out of Olivares tonight, considering the fact that tomorrow it's a split doubleheader. First game 10 o'clock California time, followed by the nightcap. That'll be at 4:30.
Ooh, that hurt. Fouled that right off Matt Wahlbeck, and Matt will need a little time here.
It was in New York City that shin guards were first used. That was back in 1917 by a catcher with the New York Giants. Matt Wahlbeck is thankful that that catcher came out with that invention at the time.
Can you believe that if he does not, if he's playing back before the turn of the century and that ball is fouled by, you're gone. Your career might be over.
Yeah, you spin on it, rub some dirt in it, and let's go. Different time, different place.
3-2 to Strawberry. Martinez, second base. And he throws him a forkball on 3-2. A lot of confidence in his off speed, but he gives up 2 runs in the inning. It's 2-0 Yankees.
Got a minute?
I got a fish.
Well, Toyota's national clearance event is on. Right now, get big savings on a new 4Runner, Toyota's #1 selling SUV. Even get incredible savings on a new RAV4. There's a huge selection of SUVs priced to move like never before. Get super low financing and low monthly payments when you buy or lease before September 7th. So get down to your Toyota dealer's national clearance event now.
I just want to tell you what a great job you're doing. You're hardworking, solid, dependable. You make our pan pizza America's favorite pizza. You make sure the crust is always crispy on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. Without you, this place is nothing. You are special.
He's talking to the pan again.
Come on. Give me a hug.
Now get up to 3 toppings or a Supreme Pan Pizza for just $8.99. That's $8.99. What more could you want? Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
There's still time this summer to get behind the wheel of a Jeep Wrangler for under 15 grand. Or drive home in a new Grand Cherokee. Right now, you can lease one for just $299 a month. Or select 0 down and no monthly payments for 6 months. Some different offers that seem to evoke the same response. At your California Jeep dealer. Who else?
Our associate producer, Jamie Weimer, must have friends in the Big Apple. They put up a sign. Happy birthday, Jamie. Happy birthday to you. Jamie Weimer says for her birthday she'd like an Angel victory. We shall see. The Angels will have to come back. Jack McDowell was behind 2-0, and his club gave him 5 runs in the 7th inning to take the lead and win it 7-3.
Well, that was her second birthday wish. Her first birthday wish is a huge raise.
How about Chuck Finley? Last night sitting next to Jack McDowell and talking, and now he sits right down next to Omar Olivares, and they discuss the problems that may have gone wrong in that first inning. There's Garrett Anderson taking a slow curve from Hideki Irabu, strike 1. Good fastball. Wow.
You get a location like that with a 95-mile-an-hour heater, it's going to be an easy night.
Chops that foul. It stays. No balls and 2 strikes to Garrett Anderson, who really gave the Angels their first life last night, down 2-0. Tim Salmon had just led off the 7th inning with a double, and on the very first pitch to Garrett Anderson, he crushed it. At first report, it was 425 feet. We later learned it was like 447. And throws the bat away, and the ball goes right into the glove of Posada, and Hideki Irabu has his second strikeout.
2 men in a row fanned by the Yankees right-hander. Boy, how about those pitches that he threw to him? 3 pitches down in the strike zone. Look at this last one. Split finger. Anderson fooled by the pitch, takes a pretty good cut, loses control of his bat, becomes a strikeout victim. I talked to Garrett before the ball game and I asked about the home runs. You know it was gone? He says, not many of them do I ever bother to watch because normally I'm running. I never hit that many to even care to watch, but I knew that one was gone yesterday. But I didn't think it was going to go quite that far.
It hit way up over the 1 row of seats off the Utz potato chip sign that is beyond the second deck. There's the spot. There's the overhang of the deck. Behind it is the Utz potato chip sign. There's Edmonds, and he takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jim Edmonds. Edmonds homered off Hideki Irabu last August 20th at Anaheim. That was the same game in which Todd Green was injured. Finley broke his wrist the night before, and then Green broke it on the 20th. And the Angel fortunes really went down the drain after that. They had a half-game lead on the Seattle Mariners, lost their next 3, and never were really a threat to the M's after that. Edmonds fouls it off, stays 1-2. But Jim told Terry Collins yesterday that he would be available for late inning defensive purposes. Took something off. Edmonds swings through, and Irabu has 3 straight strikeouts.
He's mixing his pitches perfectly right now, and his location. That fastball still rushing up there better than 90 miles an hour, but he's changing speeds with that split finger. Then when he goes up the ladder to Edmonds, swings right through it, becomes a strikeout victim.
Now Troy Gloss challenges with the fastball, but just misses high. 1 ball and no strikes. Troy has the 1 home run, came against the Toronto Blue Jays a week ago last Sunday off Chris Carpenter. Came in a losing effort, though, as both Gloss and Chris Pritchett hit their first major league home runs. But he has been learning on the job. Troy Gloss at AA, AAA, now the major leagues this year. You know, he also played instructional league baseball last year and also played winter baseball. He was telling Terry Collins the other day he figures in the last calendar year from August to August he's had 900 at bats.
You know, it used to be in baseball, as Glaus takes a look at ball 4, that they figured that a player coming through the minor leagues wasn't ready until he had at least 1,000 at-bats before he got through the system and came to the big leagues. For pitchers, it was 500 innings. Of course, when you have a talent like Loss, you accelerate things a little bit, particularly when he performs as well as he has at every level that he's played.
And he did in the minor leagues this year with 35 home runs in Double and Triple-A. And then called up. And obviously, Dave Hollins on the disabled list for the rest of the year because of the bad shoulder. Here's Malbeck, and Matt takes low. Fastball catches the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Malbeck only hitting 186 his last 21 games. And that coupled with some of the offensive woes that Phil Nevin has gone through, and the Angels waiting for Charlie O'Brien, perhaps when the rosters expand in a week, as Charlie's just beginning his rehab, swinging the bat. He'll be down at Lake Elsinore. I'm sorry, in Double-A Midland. He'll be starting his Double-A rehab at Midland. And perhaps we'll see Charlie O'Brien, one of the great defensive catchers in the game, next week.
Might see him before this road trip's up. As early as Cleveland. That's the first part of next week.
Malbeck pops it up. Left side, Scott Brocious near the stands makes the catch, ending the Angels' second inning. We head to the bottom of number 2. Posada, Curtis, and Brocious will come up.
Hey, I'm late. Where are my keys? Where are my keys?
Got a minute?
We've got to go.
Well, Toyota's national clearance event is on. Drive home a new Camry without paying a dime. No dollars, no cents, absolutely nothing due at lease signing. Then you pay only $269 a month on a Camry that comes loaded with options. Or get $750 factory cash back on the #1 selling car in America. So get down to your Toyota dealer's national clearance event now.
Once again, our $10,000 question. Who shot Alexander Hamilton?
Aaron Burr. Huh. It's Aaron Burr. $10,000!
Choose the wrong digital service? AirTouch service covers you in places others don't.
Was it Aaron Burr?
We have a winner!
Get AirTouch digital service for about $1 a day, plus 500 free weekend minutes a month. Visit us or call 1-800-AirTouch.
This is Imagine TV.
Don't worry, Lefty. While you're in a joint, me and the boys will take care of your girl and your Mercury.
Touch that mercury in your fish food.
It's a great time to get out and see California. So do it in a 1998 Mountaineer, because right now you can get low 1.9 APR financing on a Mountaineer with your choice of V6 or V8 power, leather seating surfaces, and a whole lot more. Make your getaway today.
You gotta help me break out.
I could bring you some chocolate.
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by El Pollo Loco. Right now, get 8 pieces of chili lime chicken for just $7.99. Only at El Pollo Loco and by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer. There's a look at the Staten Island Ferry. Wonder where it's going. It's like the old question, who was buried in Grant's tomb? The New York Yankees have a 2-0 lead on the Anaheim Angels. And to lead things off, Jorge Posada. And Posada takes up high, ball 1. Jorge had a great Sunday. Now, the Yankees did lose that final game against the Texas Rangers, but Posada hit 2 home runs in this contest. This guy's got good power, 15 home runs, and they love his defense. Olivares tried to nail that forkball in the outside corner. It misses. 3 balls and no strikes.
Slightly open stance. Yeah, open. He's back in the box, slightly open stance. Sees that fastball in the outside corner. So Olivares trying to come back and get the leadoff hitter in the 2nd inning. He's open as the pitch comes in, but he'll close things as he takes a step toward the pitcher. Look at Olivares like a cat. It's that extra infielder, isn't it? Comes down with that ground ball, that one hopper, and fires to first. So he works his way out of what could have been a jam, unlike what he did in the first inning.
You talked about his dad, Ed, who was with the St. Louis Cardinals. George Hendrick, he played for the Cardinals as well. Chuck Finley will go against these New York Yankees on Thursday, but Ed Olivares was an outfielder and third baseman. The Cardinal system didn't go very far, and because of that, he thought his son had a better chance as a pitcher, and he did. But now 8 years in the major leagues. Here's the former Angel, Chad Curtis, a former 45th round draft choice out of Grand Canyon. Went there with the Angels' Tim Salmon. Fastball stays upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Do you know when Omar was with St. Louis, his number wasn't 39, it was 00. Ground ball, Troy Gloss. Nice play. And 2 outs. And I bring that up because those are his initials, Omar Olivares. And Bob Tewksbury went into the skipper Joe Torre and said, "Hey Skip, can I have my numbers changed to BT?" Like Omar Olivares has his initials on his back.
And you think this job of managing is easy, huh?
Love the game. Here's Scott Brocious. The changeup, strike 1.
Pretty good numbers, aren't they? 293, considering the fact that he's just hitting a little bit over 200 last year.
He's 90 points higher, 203 last year. And I'm also impressed about his RBIs in the 7, 8, 9 position. He has 80 runs driven in last year with Oakland. His confidence was shattered. He had the lowest batting average with men in scoring position at 122. Only had 41 runs driven in. Has doubled that this year.
Still got a good month. 5 weeks left in the season. You know, with a pretty good 5 weeks, he's got a chance to drive in 100.
No question.
Especially with this ball club that leads the American League in on-base percentage. 367. So you got guys from numbers 1 through 9 in the lineup that get on base. Nice job of blocking the ball by Wahlbeck. Notice when that ball goes in the dirt, how he just tightens up his upper body in an attempt to keep it in front of him.
And now the ball gets by Matt on the strikeout, and Brocious will make first base.
Olivares and Wahlbeck figured that if one sinker can get him, he can go after one sinker, then why not try another one? This one in the dirt. This time Wahlbeck tries to backhand the ball rather than keep it in front of him. It scoots away, and Brocious, with 2 outs, is able to reach first base.
It will be charged as a wild pitch. Now Chuck Knobloch comes to the plate, who singled his last time up and scored the first of 2 Yankee runs in the first inning. Both runs that the Yankees scored came with 2 outs. 2 outs here with a man at first base in Brocious, and he goes, and the pitch taken, and Wahlbeck drops the baseball.
Tenth stolen base of the season by Brocious. Watch what happens to Wahlbeck. Backhands this ball, but when he reaches in his glove, he can't quite find the handle. Eventually he drops it, and so Brocious goes to second in scoring position, uncontested.
So the Angels have to rally now because they have given the New York Yankees an extra out on the strikeout, the wild pitch. That allowed Brocious to reach first base. He steals second base. You do not want to give the Yankees, or any team, an extra out, but you give this club an extra out or 2 in an inning, and they can bury you. He fouls it back, and with that last steal by Scott Brocious, it was his 10th stolen base of the year, and he has just set a new American League record. That just gave the Yankees 5 players with 10+ home runs and 10+ steals. Williams, O'Neill, Knobloch, and Jeter are the other 4.
You know, before it's all over, I bet they're going to set a whole bunch of records, including the one that's most talked about, and that is the most wins in a season for a ball club.
116 set by the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Joe Torre knows all about that. He also knows about the pressure. And then he had to hear from our friend Sparky Anderson. Sparky told me to tell Joe. He says, you tell Giuseppe that he's doing a lousy job, that if I had that ball club, they'd have 110 wins. And then Sparky, of course, laughed with his tongue firmly implanted in his cheek. And Joe said, you tell George that sounds like George. They're great friends. Fastball stays high. Because Sparky Anderson was one of the men responsible for Joe Torre moving back into the managing business when he went to St. Louis.
Seems that a lot of people go to Sparky for advice, don't they?
I do too. Center field, Jim Edmonds had to get a good read on it and just froze as the ball was struck. Wanted to see where it was going, then drifts back to make the catch, so they turn back the Yankees in the second.
Hold, please. One moment, please.
Hey, got a minute?
I've got a call.
Have you heard? Toyota's national clearance event is on. Drive home a new Corolla without paying a dime. No dollars, no cents, absolutely nothing due at lease signing. Then you pay only $199 a month to lease a Corolla. That's an incredible value. Or get a super low APR. This Corolla has AC, power steering, deluxe stereo, and more. So get down to your Toyota dealer's national clearance event now.
Your call cannot be completed.
John needs gas in a hurry. Why? He's late for the Arco picnic, and he has 28 pounds of potato salad sweating in the back seat. So John's using Arco's new PayQuick. He just puts in his cash or ATM card, pumps his gas, and gets his receipt. Got lots of mayo in your potato salad? Use PayQuick only at Arco.
The race is on. 8,000 cars and trucks on the starting line, and you can't lose. It's the Ford 8,000 sales event. Your Ford dealers are out to sell 8,000 cars and trucks faster than ever. Get as low as 0.9% APR for 4 years, or up to $2,000 cash back, plus discount coupons for the NASCAR-sanctioned Ford LA Street Race. The Ford 8,000 sales event. Get the Ford you want and save some serious cash.
This summer, Hilton Honors members can earn double miles just by charging their double-dip stays at Hilton with an American Express card. Call today for reservations at over 400 Hiltons worldwide.
Beautiful night in New York City. Manhattan just across the way, and we welcome you back to Yankee Stadium. This is the 95th year for Yankee baseball. Actually, they began as the old Hilltoppers in 1903, playing at Hilltop Park until 1912. Then the Polo Grounds from 1913 to 1922, and then Yankee Stadium was built in 1923, and this is the 75th anniversary. Here's Gary DeSarcina, and he puts a charge into that one, sending Chad Curtis way back. It will roll over the wall. It will be a ground rule double for Gary DeSarcina, and he has had a wonderful start at Yankee Stadium with 3 hits last night, including the game winner, breaking that 2-2 tie in the 7th inning, and now to start things well in this 3rd.
Fastball by Irabu. It's on the inside part of the plate. DeSarcina, better high ball hitter, but as of late he's been hitting everything, and this time he hits it with power. Hits it right out there in baseball's Death Valley, left center field at Yankee Stadium, and I bet you that in most parks in the American League, if not all parks, that's a home run. All parks but this one.
Well, Gary now has 35 doubles. The Angels have 4 players over 30 this year. Here is Orlando Palmeiro. He shows bunt and then pulls it back. That's ball 1 to Orlando Palmeiro. That will bring Brocious in at 3rd base. And at first base is Tino Martinez. Irabu, of all of their pitchers, is their worst fielder. Not to say he's bad, but they have some very good fielding pitchers in this club, like David Cone. There's the bunt. Irabu up. He'll go to first base and get Orlando there. Going to third in the play is Gary DiSarcina. Last night, Andy Pettit, the man in the foreground, was working with Joe Girardi, his catcher, right next to him. And Pettit was fantastic until the 7th inning. And there was some talk in the newspapers this morning that the Angels believed that Pettit was tipping off his pitches. Joe Torre said, wait a second, the guy's great for 6 innings, bad for 1, and then good in the 8th. He said he was just throwing some pitches down the middle of the plate, some bad pitches.
Hanging curveball to Garrett Anderson, who slugged it over 400 feet. And then he had 3 consecutive hitters, Nevin, DiSarcina, and the top of the lineup.
Well, Gloss also had a single, double, Nevin, and then the double by DiSarcina.
But he had 2 strikes on 3 consecutive hitters and couldn't close the deal. That led to his downfall. A 5-run outburst by the Angels that went on to win the ball game last night.
Now Randy Velarde. Terry Collins saw his club come back from a 2-0 deficit last night to win. They've won 3 games in a row. Their lead in the American League West stays at 2.5 games over the Texas Rangers. Rangers, meantime, are playing the Detroit Tigers right now. In that contest, it is Brian Powell against Todd Stottlemyre. Anaheim with the 2.5 game lead. Seattle got home run number 44 from Ken Griffey Jr. last night, but they are 9 games under 500. Ooh, that was the fastball they wanted, about belt high and middle away. But he just got under it, fouls it off. It's 2-2.
Velarde looking for a pitch that he can hit in the air to the outfield. That would guarantee a run if it's deep enough. But also, the Angels could score a run with a ground ball to either short or second, as both Jeter and Knobloch are playing back.
That's a foul at the plate. 2-2. Hideki Irabu is not afraid of throwing that split finger pitch in this situation, even with a man at third base. Palmeiro and Rod Carew visiting. There's a tapper up the middle. Jeter fields it. His throw to first base is in time, but Randy does his job, getting Gary DiSarcina home from third base and cutting the New York Yankees lead in half.
Jeter showed pretty good range in his ground ball over the bag. Got the high hop, was able to throw out Velarde with ease. What's important, though, is that the Angels put one on the board, so a leadoff double, a sacrifice to put him just 90 feet away, it pays off for the Angels.
So that's 5 straight games with an RBI for Randy Velarde, and they have been important ones. He won both Saturday and Sunday's games against the Toronto Blue Jays. Very instrumental in yesterday's win. But he had the game-winning RBI Saturday and Sunday. That Sunday game was a tremendous comeback where the Angels fought off Toronto to win it 3-2. Erstad breaks his bat, pops it up left side, racing over Posada, and he will make the catch. The Angels, though, score a run in the inning and have cut the Yankees lead to 2-1.
On an average day, Edison turns on the power for over 11 million people, 5,200 big businesses, 380,000 small businesses, and countless writers. Delivering that power takes the days and nights of 12,057 employees and a century of technology, service, and guts. Think that's a lot? Not when you realize this is what brings Millie's Victorian lovers together. Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
Got a minute? I got a fish. Well, Toyota's national clearance event is on. Right now, get big savings on a new 4Runner, Toyota's #1 selling SUV. Even get incredible savings on a new RAV4. There's a huge selection of SUVs priced to move like never before. Get super low financing and low monthly payments when you buy or lease before September 7th. So get down to your Toyota dealer's national clearance event now.
The Toyota dealers of Southern California present Toyota Scores Every Day.
Hi, I'm Tim Mead, Vice President of Communications with the Anaheim Angels. For the past several years, I've been fortunate enough to be affiliated with a couple very important charitable organizations, Ronald McDonald House and Amigos de los Niños, which is Friends of the Children.
Toyota Scores Every Day, and you can too. Watch KCAL 9 for your chance to win tickets to an upcoming game. Compliments of Toyota, you can win 4 Angels tickets to an upcoming game. Tune in to 1110 KRLA tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock and identify Tim Mead as tonight's featured Angel, and you can score 4 Angels tickets. Omar Olivares ready for his 3rd inning of work after the Angels scored a run in the top of the 3rd. And here is Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, and Bernie Williams, middle of the lineup. Olivares comes high with that fastball. Roy Smalley had 16 back in 1982. That's their middle infielders. Knobloch and Jeter have combined for 33 home runs. I think you have to go way back to 1943. Joe Gordon hit 17 home runs, the most of any Yankee second baseman. Ground ball, base hit back up the middle by Jeter.
I think Knobloch, Jeter are going to play a long time together, being the keystone combination for this ball club. And when it's all said and done, they're going to set just about all the records. Here's a pitch by Olivares over the heart of the plate. I mentioned that he's a pretty good fielder. He got himself in position, but that ball was just by him before he could set up. One more time. Past Olivares, rolls into center field, so Jeter's on with a leadoff single.
And he has speed, 24 stolen bases this year. We talked about keystone combinations. Well, he grew up watching one in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell. They played together for a long, long time. Here's Olivares throwing it away. 1 ball, no strike. His years with the Reds, the last few seasons with Cincinnati, his skipper and his hitting instructor was Lou Piniella. Piniella wanted Paul to be more of a power hitter, and his average went down. Yes, his power did go up, but he always felt he was a line drive hitter. He just figured the home runs will come. If I get 15 to 20, that's fine. But Lou figured he was more of a 30 to 35, even a 40 home run guy. Came to New York. He's hit 300 every single season here. Acquired from the Reds for Roberto Kelly in 1992. Not a bad deal.
What makes him such a good hitter is that he uses the whole field. He'll take a pitch in the outside corner to left field just as easily as he could turn on a fastball that's inside.
And he goes to left field and deep, and that ball is gone.
Maybe that's the power that Lou Piniella was thinking about. Or maybe it wasn't, because he went to left field on this pitch. The location of the pitch, out over the plate. O'Neill dives into it. It's back in the strike zone and drives this ball down that left field line. It got under it a little bit, but that ball had a lot of carry. O'Neill figures if it seems to have the distance, if it stays fair, it's out of here. And he was right. 5 or 6 rows back, puts another pair on the board for the Yankees. And not only do they recover from the 1 run that the Angels scored, but they add 1 to it. They lead 4-1 in this ballgame.
Anaheim won last night 7-3, but O'Neill just clouded his 19th home run of the season. And he has given New York a 4-1 lead now in the 3rd inning. And you just talked about his ability to not only use the entire field. Now Williams goes up the middle. They've rolled two up the middle in Jeter and Williams, and then in between is the home run by Paul O'Neill. But you just talked about his ability to go to all fields and his ability to go to all fields with power. So Omar Olivares has run into his first rut since that first inning when he gave up 2 runs. You talk about him spraying the ball. He's a hard man to defend. I guess straight away in the outfield, straight away on the infield. 1 ball, no strikes to Tino Martinez. The Angels have their bullpen busy. That is New York native Alan Watson.
Boy, they are patient, aren't they?
Unbelievably patient.
Martinez, a power threat, 22 this year. Down a little bit, obviously, from the 44 he had last year. But look where the Yankees are. You got to figure anytime a guy has a career year, the following year, he's just not going to duplicate those numbers. So he's hitting a more realistic number for a guy like Tino Martinez. The Yankees have come on as late, hitting home runs since the All-Star break. They lead the American League in that department. But why not? They lead the American League in just about every offensive department there is.
Hot foul and out of play. 2 balls, 1 strike to Tino Martinez. We were talking about this yesterday, Jerry. The fact that they take so many pitches. I mean, consistently this year, that New York lineup has a starting pitcher with about 100 pitches in the 5th inning. And here we are, Olivares in the 3rd inning, and he's already thrown 56 pitches. That's way too many for a sinker ball pitcher. For Chambliss and Mel Stottlemyre. Chambliss has been their hitting instructor this year. And when you have the people to work with, it makes instructing a lot easier.
You almost have to look up to the sky and say thank you.
You've got to have the pupils. And not just the ones you see with. Runner goes, throw to second is in time. Nice throw by Matt Walbeck, and they got Williams by plenty.
Williams looking for his 15th stolen base is denied. Look at Walbeck. Out quick, got his arm in position. A perfect peg to DiSarcina, who's waiting there to apply the tag.
Pena with a ground ball down that first base side, but foul. Count will run full now, 3-2. First base umpires Brian Honora calling balls and strikes. Jim Joyce, second base fielded Culbreth, and at third base Al Clark. It's going to be an interesting offseason for Bernie Williams. He is a free agent once again. Now this is a city that can afford to pay him. And he is asking for a lot of money. Line drive in the gap, left center field, and Tino Martinez has Olivares' number tonight. He is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles. And now in his career, he has 6 hits and 9 at-bats, 3 of them extra base hits.
A pair of doubles for Martinez, both to left center field. And both in the same kind of pitch, a sinker to the outside part of the plate. Martinez stays back and drives this ball. Boy, they just keep coming at you. They've got home run power. They've got extra base power. They've got somebody who can get on the bag. They are impressive.
Now Darryl Strawberry. Went after the forkball, strike 1. That's some power. You don't have to work that hard running around the bases. Fastball stays upstairs, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jack McDowell, the Angels, very fortunate to watch him win last night as he went 7 solid innings. The start prior to that against Detroit shut out the Tigers for 7 innings, so he has been outstanding since coming off the disabled list with just 2 runs allowed in 14 innings. Inside. How about this 3rd inning, and he's already thrown 60 pitches. That's good for the Yankees. Not good for the Angels. Inside, 3-2. Another 3-2 count by Omar Olivares. Omar only has 3 ground ball outs, and you said if 2 of his 3 can either be ground outs or strikeouts, he's having a good game. He's had a lot of pop-ups. And heck, he had 1 out this inning by a runner caught stealing.
And that's an unexpected gift. So Olivares struggling in the early going here. He's already given up 4. The Angels trail by 3. He's going to have to shut the door here. Can't let this game get out of hand because these guys can put him on the board in a hurry. Posada had a real good game in Texas with a pair of home runs. Waits on deck.
He throws that fastball right by him, came up and in, and strikes out Strawberry for the 2nd out of the 3rd inning.
Strawberry, a good low ball hitter, likes to extend those arms, but he's looking fastball on this pitch. Gets it just above the belt. Strawberry, that loop in his swing, can't quite catch up with it. Becomes a strikeout victim for the 2nd time this evening.
So Olivares will deal with Jorge Posada. Guy he did get out on a ground out his last time up. Jorge just chopped one right back to Omar, threw him out. Jorge hit home runs from each side of the plate in his last game that he started against the Texas Rangers on Sunday. One's from left side, one from the right side. And he finds the strike zone there. Mickey Mantle did it. Roy White, Bernie Williams has done it. Tom Tresh, Roy Smalley, Jorge Posada did it on Sunday. But he is not as strong from this side as he is batting from the right side against the lefty. Got it on the inside corner. Now he's quickly in front. No balls, 2 strikes to Posada. Martinez second base with 2 outs. Forkball just misses inside.
Had a little bend to it, did it?
You know what? He really has pretty good control with that pitch. It's been his fastball that has flattened out, and he's not had that great sink to tonight. That's wound up around the thighs or belt that has been belted. With too many extra base hits. Got that one up, and it has popped out of play.
Might have gotten away with a fastball over the heart of the plate. Posada fouls this one off.
Olivares has given up 4 runs, 2 in the 1st, now 2 in the 3rd inning. Broke his bat, fouls it off. It stays 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Jorge will need to dig up a new piece of lumber. Find that glove. A little Jeter fan, lost it twice. There's your old friend Jose Cardinal, the first base coach for the Yankees. Posada has to get the new pine tar.
How about Jose coaching first base? Got conked in the head about a month ago with a thrown ball. Had his head turned just a little bit. A ball came in. I guess he was watching the base runner. He missed the first baseman's glove and got him right in the head, so he had to be taken out.
Oh, my goodness. That sounds like it's right out of the movie Major League when they're going through their troubled times. There's Irabu. He's had a long stay in the dugout. The Angels hope it is worn on him. He won't have the same consistency that he showed in the first 2 innings. Olivares brings it way outside 2-2. Omar Olivares has been laboring after really 5 quality starts, averaging 7 innings in those 5 starts and 3 earned runs or less in each. 3-2. He had him 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Olivares almost up near the 70 pitch mark. And you take a look at Jack McDowell, who threw last night, and Jack threw a total of 78 pitches in 7 innings.
It just gives you a perspective, doesn't it, of how good McDowell pitched last night, because it's not that easy to go out there and have command the way that McDowell did after that long layup. Then a guy like Olivares, who's been pitching more regularly than a guy like McDowell, has struggled tonight. There's Jack. Talked to him before the ball game, asked him how he felt. He said, not any stiffer than I normally was before. When he talks about 100% now, he says 100% of what I had last night, you got.
That was enough. Posada, what a great at-bat by Jorge. He was behind the count, 0-2. Fouled off a couple of pitches, took a couple out of the strike zone, fouled off a couple more. This is a tough at-bat.
And he's had a couple of pitches that have been in the zone that are hitters' pitches. He's fouled them both off.
Martinez doubled. 2 runs already home in this inning on the 2-run home run by Paul O'Neill to deep left field. And he misses ball 4. So Olivares close to 80 pitches, and we're still in the 3rd inning. His control has been up, down, erratic, in and out of the strike zone. And Jerry, he's had a number of pitches that haven't even been close.
Wild outside the strike zone and wild within it. He's gotten a couple of pitches up, and the Yankees have jumped all over him.
Now Chad Curtis. Ground ball short. DeSarcina gets the force at second base. The Yankees do score 2 on the 2-run home run by Paul O'Neill.
Wednesday at noon, live from the KCAL 9 News Studios, it's the first head-to-head matchup between Barbara Boxer and Matt Vaughn. See who will lead California and the U.S. Senate into the next century. Election 98. Debate coverage begins Wednesday at noon on KCAL 9.
When 5'2" Bobby met 3'6" John, they fell in love in a big way.
I just knew that something was going to happen.
Meet the most unlikely couples you've ever seen on the next Maury.
Midnight tonight on KCAL 9.
At Uniroyal, in order to make a point about our new nail guard tires, we added a few to our test track. Nail guard tires, designed to seal 90% of tread punctures, instantly and permanently. Only from Uniroyal.
The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you.
A giant meteor approaches impact. Humanity faces the decision of a lifetime.
Should I get the sizzling sirloin with garlic shrimp or with teriyaki salmon?
Sizzler's new sizzling sirloin combos. Offer may expire soon.
When you are the skipper of a team that is 60 games over 500, you're having fun. And that's Joe Torre with the New York Yankees. We asked him how proud he is of the club that he's seen this year.
Well, I think a lot of these guys have been here from '96, and after winning the World Series in '96, getting in the postseason last year, and then doing what we're doing this year, there's a lot of pride. And let's admit it, you call attention to yourself, and all of a sudden you realize you don't want to embarrass yourself, and the guys want to win. I have an unusual group because they'd like to knock in the winning run, each and every one of them, but they don't want anybody to ask them about it. So it's unusual, and I'm pleased to be the manager.
Interesting, Joe Torre grew up in Flatbush. Huge Dodger fan. Watched the Brooklyn Dodgers, hated the Yankees, and here he is, their skipper. There's a line drive to center field by Salmon, and Bernie Williams will make another excellent catch.
And how about this with Torre? As a player, His career spanned 16, maybe 17 different seasons, and never once with the teams he played for, the Braves, the Cardinals, and the Mets, did he ever get to postseason play. But he becomes a manager, comes back to New York, and in 1996 realizes the ultimate as he led this Yankee ball club to a world championship.
And 96 almost did not happen. They were winning that world championship. Here's Garrett Anderson. And GA takes low. From August 1st to the middle of September, the Baltimore Orioles cut New York's 12-game lead to 2.5. And you think George Steinbrenner was chewing on the side of his mouth and chewing on his team?
And I think it was Joe who calmly said, hey, that's why you have a lead. You're going to have peaks and valleys during the course of the season. And wouldn't you rather experience something like this right now in August and early September rather than postseason?
And then they go into postseason. They get to the World Series. They play the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta wins the first 2 games here at Yankee Stadium. Steinbrenner comes into the clubhouse, and he is furious. And Torrey stops him right away. He says, George, forget it. Atlanta's my town. We'll go there, and we'll sweep them. George just turned around and left. And you know what? They went to Atlanta and swept him. And Joe said, hey, I had to come up with something. I knew he was steamed. They went to Atlanta, swept him there, and then won back in New York.
Now, see, previous managers of the Yankees, maybe except for Buck Showalter, probably would have gotten into a confrontation with the owner of this ball club. But Joe just diffused the situation, said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of business. We got the guys here who can do it. Like you said, they did it.
Ball comes low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
This is an important inning for the Angels. 2 in the first for the Yankees, 2 in the third. They trail by 3. They can put a couple of runs on the board. They can switch this momentum back in their favor.
Irabu has now walked 3 in the ball game. Fastball stays high and away to Jim Edmonds. Edmonds struck out swinging his first time up. Irabu's having a hard time finding that strike zone. Falling behind Jim Edmonds. Edmonds has been in a power slump. Here's a guy who's averaged almost 30 home runs a year the last 4 seasons. But Jim only has 2 in about the last 55 games. Last 57 he has 4 home runs. That's not like Edmonds. Jim had that great month of May where he had 8 home runs. Irabu now calls time, ties his shoe, digs back in. Hideki, a big man at 6 feet 3 inches tall and about 250 pounds. Edmonds takes a fastball in the outside corner. 3-1.
Don't let him rip this pitch if it's something he likes.
Stays upstairs, ball 4, so the Angels have a rally going here in the 4th inning. Salmon lined sharply to the center fielder Bernie Williams, but Anderson and Edmonds have walked, and now Troy Gloss comes to the plate, and he represents the tying run. The kid with 36 pro home runs this year. 19 at AA, 16 at AAA, and 1 in the major leagues. Had a hit last night, scored a run. Irabu has walked 4. Now time called. But it was a home run that got the Angels going last night. They were down by 2 runs. Andy Pettitte had total control of that ball game. And then Garrett Anderson smokes one about 445 feet to deep right field, tying the game. Pettitte lost his composure after that and lost control of his pitches. And the Angels would score 3 more in that inning. Mel Stottlemyre will be joined by the entire infield. Irabu has really slowed down his motion. I mean, he's taking a lot more time in between pitches.
I can see why Posada wants to go out and talk to him and find out, what are you thinking about? What's wrong here? We got to get you back into some kind of a groove here so that you can start throwing strikes. You got a 3-run lead. And let's not play around. It's getting too close to finish time. Well, the party's over. Everybody goes back to their respective positions. And Irabu is ready to deliver a pitch. Loss, though, has had a little bit of time to think. Boy, what a whirlwind time he's had the past year plus, hasn't he? College World Series, and now he's in a pennant race.
Fastball stays low. 1 ball, no strikes to Troy Gloss. And you talked about the whirlwind year that he has had. He signed about this time his Angels contract last year. Because of all of the play that he's had the last calendar year, that's why they will not send him to instructional league. Fastball in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Maybe Mel said, let's stop messing around. Let's come fastball. Keep the fastball down. Nope, guess not. Went with that slow curve. Stays away. 2-1. That may mean he's got to come in fastball now. 1-1, you're not sure. 2-1, pretty sure you're going to get the cheese.
When a pitcher has control problems, usually you go back to one pitch that you're almost certain that you can throw for a strike.
It was the fastball, and it's fouled off.
In Irabu's case, it is the fastball. And then once you establish that you can throw that, now you can all of a sudden work your other pitches off that same slot that you throw it and get yourself back into a groove where you can control the ball game.
That is not consistent enough. 31 in the strike zone, 31 out of the strike zone.
No, that's a struggle.
Looked like Troy had it in his wheelhouse and just did miss it.
It wasn't a wheelhouse, but it was up there 90+ miles an hour, and it rushes up there rather quick, and you can't get that bad head through in time to drive the ball. But he did foul it off, and now he's seen 5 pitches from Irabu. He knows what he's got.
And he busts it back up the middle. Jeter fumbles the baseball and no play. The bases are loaded for Anaheim. If Jeter comes up with it cleanly, Jerry, he has the force at second base.
Has the force and maybe a double play if he can make the exchange quickly. But he loses control of the baseball, not once, but twice. So there's not going to be a play at any base. So this is truly being a gift inning setup for the Angels. A couple of walks and error by a usually steady shortstop. They've got the bases loaded and Wahlbeck coming to the plate.
And that is only the 8th error this year on the New York shortstop. Garrett Anderson at third base, Jim Edmonds second, Troy Gloss at first base, and coming to the plate, Matt Wahlbeck. Wahlbeck goes after the first fastball, fouls it straight back, strike 1. I mean, the Angels would love to get back in this game with a big hit here, but it's important to at least get 1 run and keep coming back, keep that pressure on New York. Curveball misses inside. It is interesting the way the infield is defending Matt Wahlbeck. He has shown a good ability this year to go the opposite field. And look what Brocious has given him, a good 15 feet off the line at third base. Wahlbeck takes a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Key pitch in the sequence. The count 1-1. He doesn't want to get that count to 2-1 because everybody in the ballpark knows he's going to deliver a fastball. But this time it's a 1-1 fastball, gets that inside corner, and it has that kind of movement where it begins inside, comes back to clip that inside corner. It throws Wahlbeck and puts him in a position with a count 1-2 where it's in the favor of Irabu.
And he strikes him out.
Sets him up with a fastball and then comes in with a split finger. With a count 2-1, you look fastball, but with it 1-2 in a situation where you look for a strikeout, Irabu goes into his bag of tricks, comes up with a forkball, and gets the key strikeout.
So Gary DiSarcina steps to the plate with the bases loaded. Gary has 4 hits in 5 at-bats against New York on this trip. And he's done quite well against the Yankees. Gary takes ball 1.
Irabu, rather than coming in with a fastball, tries that splitter in the outside part of the plate. It misses. DiSarcina, who's had quite a series with 4 hits already, takes that pitch.
Well, he started Gary off with a fastball his last at bat, and DiSarcina ripped it into the alley in left field. Anderson third base. Edmonds second. Lost first, but now 2 outs. Wahlbeck just struck out. In there. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Irabu struggling, but throwing quality pitches at quality times. Salmon visiting with hitting instructor Rod Carew. Irabu spending a lot of time watching the Irabu videotape before the ball game. That's off the corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. And whenever Irabu would throw a curveball, Rod would slow the videotape down and watch it, scene for scene.
Now they have a lot of different angles that they utilize. The angles from both dugouts so that they can see how the pitch is in elevation, and also the center field camera.
And we'll even the count now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Irabu against Gary DiSarcina.
Well, if the count 2-2, Yankee fans are picking up the cheer, hoping for a strikeout to end this threat by the Angels. Irabu with a good fastball. Really, that's his bread and butter pitch, but his strikeout pitch is a split finger. With a count 2-2, I'm looking for a split finger.
Little tapper back to Hideki. Throws to first base, ending the inning, and the Angels leave the bases loaded. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's New York by 3.
The golden city of El Dorado vanished. Gold doubloons lost at sea. The goose that laid the golden egg, dinner. Now there's the Lexus Golden Opportunity. Don't let this one slip away. You'll find the Lexus of your dreams, whether you buy or lease at values more incredible than you'd ever expect. But hurry, the Lexus Golden Opportunity ends August 31st at your Lexus dealer.
Remember, under no circumstances are you to release that butt under any conditions. I'm all over it.
Uh-oh, it's the big temptation. The irresistible taste of McDonald's barbecue-style bacon burger. A quarter-pound of beef, bacon, onions, pickles.
You're holding that butt. I'm all over it.
And the authentic taste of KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce. An irresistible $1.59. Did somebody say McDonald's?
You let go of the button, didn't you? I'm all over it.
The wait is over. The sale you've been waiting for is back, and it's bigger than ever. It's the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance. Right now, you can get big savings on tough Ford trucks, like low 1.9% APR financing on Explorer and F-Series, America's best-selling truck. Or get $1,000 cash back on Ranger. Plus, get factory authorized savings on other Ford cars and trucks in stock. Hurry, the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance ends soon at your local Ford dealer.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, get in, be moved. Steve Physiak, Jerry Royce at Yankee Stadium in New York. The Yankees have a 4-1 lead on the Anaheim Angels. Angels won last night 7-3 to hold their 2.5-game lead over the Texas Rangers in the American League West. And here is Omar Olivares getting a first pitch strike to Scott Brosius. Brosius struck out his last at bat, but on the pitch the ball got away from catcher Matt Wahlbeck, rolled back to the screen, and Scott made first base. He then would steal second, but was left stranded. New York scoring 2 runs in the first inning on 2-out base hits by Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez. That slug to right field. Garrett Anderson charges on to make the catch. And Brosius lines out.
You know, Anderson's made quite an adjustment after playing years in left field, moving over to right field. He's played a pretty good solid right field for the Angels in the absence of Tim Salmon.
And it's interesting because Terry Collins went to both Darren Erstad and Garrett Anderson and asked them, what do you guys want to play? And Darren said, well, I played left field coming up in the minor leagues. And Garrett said, actually, I was the right fielder. So he felt more comfortable in right field as well. But I believe when Mr. Salmon comes back and is completely healthy next year, GA won't mind left again. Olivares now dealing with Chuck Knobloch, who has singled and scored a run and popped to center field. Little check swing. Liner towards the right field seats. You know, we were thinking the other day about Knobloch and why his numbers are down. He's hitting in the 250s this year after a career average at Minnesota at 307, and you wonder if it's because he's a pretty good turf hitter. He does have a tendency to chop down the ball. That AstroTurf, it really can scoot through.
And with that good speed that he has, infielders can't play back on him, so they have to play him up a little bit, and those ground balls scoot past. But it just hasn't happened for him yet here in New York. However, it's all overshadowed by the fact that the Yankees are having such a great season. So you push that aside when you figure that they're on their run and they won't settle for anything less than a world championship.
And they really figured at the beginning of the season he was the last piece to their puzzle. Fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But here's a kid who was born to play baseball. 96 hit .341 with Minnesota, 291 last year, 256 this year with the Yankees, although the power is up. Maybe he is still pressing inside. He's not the guy in New York. 3-2. Derek Jeter waiting. And that's busted towards center field. A base hit. Knobloch is 2 for 3. When you're constantly going 3-2, Jerry, that hitter knows you're going to be aggressive. You do not want to start an inning with a speedy walk.
Knobloch fights off this pitch on the inside part of the plate, hits the ball right around the trademark, loops it in short center field. And it falls in front of Edmonds behind DiSarcina. And Knobloch, who has 24 stolen bases for the season, is a threat to steal in a situation like this. Yankees lead by 3. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Jeter, who makes pretty good contact, is at the plate. Let's see what happens with the Yankees. They're going to have a running play of some kind.
New York by 3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Knobloch leading from first base. And a throw by Omar Olivares. He's thrown a ton of pitches, almost 90 pitches in this ball game, still just in the 4th inning. So what we talked about yesterday and also a little bit today is exactly what is going on with the New York batters today. Working that starting pitching, getting them out of there earlier, because I don't see Olivares going deep into this ball game unless he settles down right now and gets some early count outs.
If you're a pitcher, starting pitcher against this New York ball club, you start throwing strikes with the first pitch, you have to be aggressive. And that's going to force them to swing, because as good as they are, they're not going to be as good of a hitting ball club if they're hitting from behind in the count.
Well, Olivares gets a rare strike 1 on his first pitch. It's right back. Jeter fouls it up. Now he has strike 2.
Jeter tried to hit behind that ball and slap it into right field, but he fouls it off and he's in a hole.
Derek grounded back to the mound his first time up, singled and scored in the home run by Paul O'Neill, his last at bat. Erstad holding Knobloch. Chuck way down in steals this year. 58 last season, 24 this. 1-2. Belted to left field, base hit. Knobloch goes to second base, and Olivares just making too good of a pitch with the count his way at 1-2.
Olivares, we'll repeat again, his best pitch is a sinker. But when he gets that ball up above the knees, it doesn't have that kind of power sink and make him successful. With a count 1-2, he gets a pitch up. Jeter keeps his bat back and drives this ball hard into left field for a base hit. And Terry Collins has seen enough. Olivares is gone. The Angels trail by 3 with Alan Watson coming on.
Remember, under no circumstances are you to release that butt under any conditions. I'm all over it.
Uh-oh, it's the big temptation. The irresistible taste of McDonald's barbecue-style bacon burger. A quarter-pound of beef, bacon, onions, pickles.
You're holding that butt. I'm all over it.
And the authentic taste of KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce. An irresistible $1.59. Did somebody say McDonald's?
You let go of the button, didn't you? I'm all over it.
Daddy, can't you come?
Honey, I gotta go to work.
To the men and women at Edison, protecting your service from natural disasters is more than just a job.
Don't worry, we'll save Daddy a seat.
It's a commitment that weathers hardship, hard work, and hard choices.
I'm scared.
Yeah, we got lights.
Thank you, Daddy.
Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
As a business traveler, join National's Emerald Club and you can bypass the counter, choose your own car, and get on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental. Let's go.
Omar Olivares' evening lasts 3 1/3 innings. First guy to greet him, Chuck Finley. Veteran, the leader on the staff. Chuck continues that conversation with Omar.
It's kind of like having an extra coach, isn't it? An older brother who's been around for a long time. We've seen it already a number of times in this series. Players come off the field, come to the bench, they talk to Finn. We saw Jack McDowell do it last night. And we're seeing Olivares doing it right now. 88 pitches on the evening for Omar. He struggled. His sinker really wasn't effective tonight. Got a lot of pitches up in the strike zone. And the Yankees banged out 9 hits. They put 4 on the board, but they threatened this inning with Knobloch on second and Jeter on first. Alan Watson takes over. It's been 5 days since Watson has performed. He appeared at home against Detroit. Overall, Watson 5-7. He's appeared in 19 games, 5 as a reliever. Watson a bit unhappy with the demotion as he feels to the bullpen. He's out of the starting rotation where he really feels he's most effective, but it's been a game of numbers. Terry Collins looking for the best 5 that he can put out there on an evening. And when Watson went on a disabled list, he lost his spot in that rotation when Sparks came along, and he's pitched excellent baseball. So Watson coming on in this ball game, pitching in relief as the Angels trail by 3, and it's up to him to stop the bleeding. The first man he's going to face will be Paul O'Neill.
And Allen might have a bit of the nerves going here because he has a lot of family and friends at the ballpark. He is from New York, and on the first, before he makes his first pitch, he balks. So Knobloch will go to third base. Jeter goes to second, and Terry Collins says, oh my. Watson, though, went to Christ the King High School in New York. Where is the ball?
There it is right there. He turned his body. Home plate umpire Jim Joyce says, can't do that.
If he takes his foot off the rubber,
he's got to do it first.
Yes. And now O'Neill takes ball 1. Infield is in.
That's what I was going to say. It forces the infield now to play up.
Velarde's a little bit back, but let's see if he creeps in before the pitch. Randy stays put. Good pitch by Allen. 1 ball, 1 strike, and this is a strikeout situation, so we may see that changeup. Third base, Chuck Knobloch. Second base, Derek Jeter. Outstanding speed both. O'Neill hit a home run in his last at bat. And he smacks that one up the middle. Off DiSarcina to the third baseman, and they've got at least one man. Knobloch didn't read it. So they'll come up with an out here in a weird situation when the ball struck off DiSarcina's glove. Knobloch didn't go. But Jeter won from second to third base. And Joe's gone, I can't believe what just happened.
How did we not get a run on that is what Joe's wondering. Knobloch froze when he saw that ball hit DiSarcina's glove, then couldn't move. The runner at second, Jeter, he knows that this ball, once it gets past DiSarcina, he's off to the races because there's a possibility he could score. From the pitch, you see what happens. Picked up by Velarde. And look at this. This is a heads-up play. He realizes there are two Yankees where there's only supposed to be one. Takes a quick look over his shoulder, and he holds the runner O'Neill at first base. Then he first tags Jeter, which is the proper way to do it, and then tries to push Knobloch off the base just in case he's fallen asleep. And he might even get a double play.
Good call, Jer. But he did read it beautifully. Instead of making the throw, just run him down. Run him back to the same bag. Runners to the corners, Bernie Williams, and there's a strike one foul off. Williams has singled twice in this game. Now he has that average up near the 350 mark again at 348. He leads the American League in hitting, and there haven't been too many New York batting champions. Of all the Hall of Famers, and they have 38, they have only 8 men who have led the American League in batting. Babe Ruth was the first to do it back in 1924 when he hit 378. There's Joe DiMaggio. Joe did it twice in 39 and 40, led the American League in hitting. 1941, I believe that Boston Red Sox won it. Hit 406, Mr. Williams. But it's been Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Sternweiss, Mickey Mantle did it in 56, Mattingly in 84, and Paul O'Neill did it in 94. So Williams could join that great group. Fastball comes way inside, almost hit Bernie in the knee.
Watson doubles up on fastballs, misses with both of them. And with the count 2-1, we're looking for that changeup. That's Watson's best pitch. Usually that changeup of Watson induces a fly ball, and with 2 men out, things are in Watson's favor. See what he decides to do here. Bernie Williams, league's leading hitter at the plate. Key situation in the ball game.
Changeup on 2-1. Good pitch.
Not only a changeup, an excellent speed, but an outstanding location with good movement toward the outside. Williams might have been looking for just a little bit more on that pitch. Watson delivered less.
Knobloch third base. O'Neill first base. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Watson comes walking off the mound, and that's strike 3. Williams is done, and New York does not score as they had runners on second and third and just 1 out.
Hey, there's still time this summer to get behind the wheel of a Jeep Wrangler for under 15 grand. Or drive home in a new Grand Cherokee. Right now, you can lease one for just $299 a month. Or select 0 down and no monthly payments for 6 months. Some different offers that seem to evoke the same response. At your California Jeep dealer. Who else?
When you eat a big, juicy Carl's Jr. Superstar, remember, things can get a little dirty. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Upper hand, to enjoy an advantage over, to have the edge. As in emerge victorious, to finish first. Welcome to the 98 Honda Clearance. Don't you just love it when you win?
Angels will return to Anaheim next week for a big weekend series against the Kansas City Royals. Friday, September 4th, it's the Angels and Royals at 7:05, plus the Big Bang fireworks show after the game. Saturday, on the 5th, game time is 7:05 again, and all kids 12 and under will receive an Angels backpack courtesy of AMC Theaters. And the series with Kansas City concludes on Sunday, September 6th at 5:05. Call 714-663-9000 for your tickets right now. Well, the Angels trying to come back in this ball game down by 3. Alan Watson in the foreground. He just snuffed out a New York rally.
That's quite a pick-me-up, wasn't it? Watson comes on, keeps the ball in the infield with O'Neill at the plate, and the infield pull in, and then scores a key strikeout against Bernie Williams. Double up on changeups, but he reached back for something less. And he got the strikeout and the Angels out of a jam.
Now Irabu to face Orlando Palmeiro, Randy Velarde, and Darren Erstad in the 5th inning. Palmeiro, first time up, worked the count well, worked it to 3-2, and then lined one right on the screws, but Derek Jeter just made a marvelous diving play to catch his line drive. Jim Edmonds replacing his shoes, and maybe his twos. In there, 2-1. He found just the outside corner, the edge of the outside corner to even the count 2-2.
That pitch had a lot of bite when it got toward home plate. A little bit of diving action. Couple that with the fact it was better than 90 miles an hour. It's an unhittable combination.
And Orlando comes right back to bust it up the middle for a base hit. That's a start for the Angels in this 5th inning. Palmeiro is on for the first time.
Palmeiro takes Irabu deep into the count, as a good leadoff hitter should. And eventually was able to get a pitch that he could handle, slaps it on the ground. Jeter couldn't catch up with it, and the Angels have their leadoff hitter on to begin things in the 5th.
And Randy Velarde coming to the plate. He has hurt the Yankees in the past. 96, hit well against the New Yorkers. Missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery in that right elbow. Came up with 3 hits and 4 at-bats last night, and takes ball 1. The Detroit Tigers have taken a 3-1 lead on the Texas Rangers in the 3rd inning. That was Brian Powell going against Todd Stottlemyre. Angels, of course, with a 2.5 game lead, and the Rangers were first in the West. Fastball comes in, 2-0. Do you know what Irabu's nickname in Japan was?
Nope.
Kuragi, which is jellyfish. How about that nickname? And it isn't because of his girth. The size of the man. Velarde takes it. It's because his fastball is so good, it stung the hands of the batters when he would come inside, like a jellyfish would sting you when you're swimming in the Pacific Ocean. Body surfing with Jason.
I guess that's some of that Pacific Rim humor, huh?
There you go.
Or loses something in the translation.
But he lost the nickname when he came to the States. He didn't want to be called jellyfish.
No, it doesn't have quite the same meaning as what it did over there.
Kuragi. It sounds tough, doesn't it? Irabu's favorite movie, Mitch Reinhardt says, is Tori, Tori, Tori. Ground ball 3rd. Brocious goes 2nd. 1 on to 1st. Nicely done.
Call him any nickname you want, but you have to call this a double play around the horn. Perfect hop to Brocious, the throw down just a little bit, but Knobloch has a lot of time to make the adjustment. Get his hand up in the air to make this throw over to first. Look at that slide by Palmeiro. You can bet that Knobloch heard the footsteps on that one.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Darren Erstad comes to the plate, who was 0 for 2 in the game. He was popped up twice, once to left and once to the catcher. In there, strike one. Darren came off the disabled list with 5 hits in his first 2 games, but has been rather quiet since. And he smacks that one, a line drive that is speared by Derek Jeter. So the Angels hit it hard in the 5th, but they just have a hit to show for it.
Hey, nice crowd tonight.
Oh, yeah. We talked to our manager, and he said that we can't play for free beer anymore.
That's what he said, huh?
He said that if you want us to keep playing here, you just got to come up with something better.
There's ordinary beer. Then there's the smooth, refreshing taste of Michelob Light.
I'm the band's manager. I get 10% of everything they make.
Beer or Michelob?
Sooner or later, a Mazda's gonna move you. We just thought we'd speed up the process. It's Mazda's Make Your Move clearance event. Get 0.9% APR financing on thousands of new Mazdas. Or check out big cash back and great lease deals. Call or visit our website for details. See your Mazda dealer and make your move today.
The New York Yankees with a 4-1 lead over the Anaheim Angels, and Steve Physiak along with Jerry Royce. And Jerry, the way Hideki Irabu has been working around jams, he's making it a tough time for the Angels in this game.
Well, the last 2 innings, how about that? 2 walks and an error. He's able to work through that jam, and then just as it seemed that the Angels were going to recover, Palmeiro with a single, he's able to induce a double play and then a line drive off the bat of Erstad. So you got to give Irabu some credit because he's pitched out of a couple of tough jams and he's got himself a 3-run lead.
Alan Watson got out of a tough jam, and I believe if the Angels can hold off their offense, they've got a chance to come back on Hideki.
That was a big play as far as the Angels were concerned, because for Watson coming in from the bullpen, his job is to hold things right there, and that's exactly what he did. Now, we've talked about Watson before and his desire to be a starting pitcher, but coming out of the bullpen, the 5 times that he has so far this year, he's been simply outstanding.
Well, Derek Jeter went right in and talked with Don Zimmer, his bench coach, and Joe Torre, the manager, as we will start the bottom of the 5th inning with New York up by 3, and Tino Martinez coming to the plate. Tino Martinez, Darryl Strawberry, and Jorge Posada. And Watson goes upstairs with the fastball. Tino, a pair of doubles, both of those against Omar Olivares. 2 balls and no strikes. And Jerry, could part of Allen's problem as a starting pitcher be that usually one time through the order, the offense will settle in and get a little more comfortable against him?
At least what we've seen so far, that seems to indicate that, but he's had the 1 bad inning situation ever since he's joined this ball club a year ago. I recall a game against Kansas City where he was outstanding for 5 innings, giving up 2, maybe 3 hits, and had a scoreless ball game. But the first 4 batters that he faced in the 6th got on base, and there were 2 home runs that drove all of them in. So he can lose it in a hurry. For a guy like Watson to come out of the bullpen, he throws strikes, he mixes his pitches well. And if you couple him with a guy like Olivares that we've seen tonight, you've got a guy from the right side that throws a sinker and a left-hander that throws a changeup. 2 different looks for this Yankee ball club.
Good pitch by Allen, and he strikes out Tino Martinez to start the bottom of the 5th inning.
Watson takes a little bit off his fastball. I don't think this is quite a changeup, but look at the movement on this pitch as it drops down. A little bit of a tail into Martinez. He's swinging like he's going after a fastball. You see that front knee buckle. Ballbeck keeps the ball in front of him, applies the tag, and we've got 1 man out.
Now Darryl Strawberry taking inside. And Jerry, when you take a look at what the Angels have to do to win the West, well, obviously get Ken Hill back and have him be successful when he comes back this Friday against the Boston Red Sox. then Jack McDowell must stay healthy. His leadership, the way he has pitched the last 2 ball games, has been brilliant. We'd like to see the Angels go 5-5 on this trip. They need to improve their clutch hitting, and they also need to get their left-handed relief in order. They have Trevor Wilson and Alan Watson there. Mike Holtz probably will be coming up when they expand the rosters in September, but somebody from the left side has to be able to get the left-handers out in baseball.
I think the first thing, the most important thing, is getting everybody in this ball club healthy. We're trying to get the guys that you've been counting on all year in playing shape enough so that down that stretch run they can contribute. And it appears that everything is headed in that direction. Now, you got to give Bill Bavasi some credit. I know he's got a lot of criticism back in Southern California for not pulling the trigger on a deal before the trading deadline. But consider this fact. Stottlemyre is going tonight for Texas. He's won 3 games since joining that ball club. But you have to ask yourselves, what have the Angels done then since the trading deadline? Well, they've gotten Juden on waivers. They've gotten Mike Fetters on waivers. Both have contributed, but